Welcome. You're listening to Sisters with Purpose podcast.
Welcome back to episode 3 of Sisters with Purpose, where real conversations lead to real growth.
Welcome back, y'all. We are so excited. We are getting all this positive feedback.
Yeah.
We heard that y'all really enjoyed episode 2. Mm-hmm. That was a real conversation that needed to be talked about, and we'll dive a little deeper into that probably in other topics that kind of relate to that.
Yeah.
But last week you received a scripture that aligned with our topic, and this week you're going to receive a quote.
Okay. What's the quote? Quote?
Let me see. So this is by Adrian Rich, and it reads, "The connections between and among women are the most feared, the most problematic, and the most potentially transforming force on the planet."
The connection between women.
Yep.
It's a force to reckon with.
It is. And that's why I think it said problematic, too.
Yeah.
Because they know when us women get together, baby.
Okay.
We will shut it down. We will pick it up. We will turn it over.
And
we will correct it. That's just what we do. What you got for us today? This is going to be our coffee cup conversations.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ding. Okay. Our weekend. Weekend. I'm going to be honest. Listen, now we just got off of episode 2 where we were talking about
rest.
You know, it's okay to rest. And a sister worked. And a sister, listen, we worked. And worked.
Like the song, whack, 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 whack. That's what we did.
And I'm telling you, I couldn't wait to see my bed. I didn't know what day it was.
Me neither.
After a while.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was good. It was good.
It was good, but y'all, listen, let's just be honest. We still working the food truck.
Yeah, we are.
But now I think the food truck is working us.
Girl, yes.
It's been a sellout and everything, but I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I was tired. I was tired this weekend, and my feet and my legs told me, and my knees.
Yeah. See? Now you get what I was saying last week when I said these knees is about to give out.
I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. I worked for McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
When I was 14. I used to be on the French fryer. You know, I would fry the French fries. But, y'all, I did not last at that job for 3 weeks. Reason being, I had to be on my feet. Okay?
Yes.
It was hot. And so all of those memories came back when I was in that food truck.
She worked for 3 weeks at McDonald's. I worked for less than 24 hours at Burger King on base. Because when they told me that I was off the cash register and I had to go clean the bathroom,
yes, baby.
I do not think so. Goodbye.
Right now, it's for the family, it's for a cause, and so it's more rewarding.
Yeah, so that's where our weekends are kind of like dedicated to right now. And so we do other things, but again, I was, that's what I did. And then I got, I'm a part-time parent to my nieces and nephews. So I get them when I want to get them. And so I got 2 of the girls this weekend, dropped one off at daycare this morning, still got the other one. But, it's nice to do that. But my weekend was pretty much working the family business.
The same. So now we're going to talk about Sisters with Purpose Spotlight.
Okay.
And I think this is, because it's, a couple more days before Women's History Month is over, and that doesn't stop us from empowering and encouraging each other as women. But I wanted to take a moment and really spotlight. You just kind of talked about it, where you was doing your auntie and taking, the little ones, taking the pressure off, relieving mothers and fathers as well, from the pressure of, just having to do the hustle and bustle of parenthood. And so I want to spotlight young mothers.
Yes. Yes.
Motherhood, and even from, they call you auntie-hood, right? Momty, right? Just the responsibilities of it is weighty. Okay. And especially for young mothers in this culture and in this society. And so I just want to take a quick moment to highlight individuals who are close to me. My daughter, who is now a mother.
Yes.
My daughter-in-law.
Yes.
Who is a mother. And just my nieces who are mothers. And just, they're all under the age of 5 years old.
Yeah.
And so if you know, like I know, if you're around, young children, it takes a village.
Yeah.
And not everybody has a village.
That's true.
You may be in different locations, but if you can find that village, if you can find that support, lean on that support. And so I just want to give kudos to those young women, to my daughter-in-law, all of my nieces.
Yes.
Just continue doing what you're doing. I know it can be tough sometimes, but stay in there and take advantage of your village.
Yes.
Right. And so you're strong, you're powerful, you can do it, but actually also take that time to rest.
Yes.
And take the time to ask for help.
Yeah.
Like they say, closed mouths don't get fed. Right.
True. Yep.
So let people know you need time out.
Yeah.
You need some time off and you need some rest. So, for all the mothers and, the fathers are in their life, give the kids to him.
Yeah.
Okay. Take some time to yourself. And so,
I like that. That was good. I like that spotlight because there are, a lot of young mothers. I even have some students who are new mothers, and even just shout out to them for, doing what they're doing, handling their household, still being a boss, coming up and launching new businesses and going to school. Like, it's a lot. And so any chance that I get to kind of like relieve some of that pressure, I do. And even just having them, for the hours or the day that I have them, I'll be like, woo. But, I've been doing this for a long time. But as you get older, you be like, ooh.
Yeah, you the OG.
I'll be like, oh, you got me between a rock and a hard place. You a little different from the nieces and nephews. But I like that. That was a great highlight. Yeah. I really like that. And that kind of like moves right into our topic for today.
Sure does. What is our
today?
Topic?
Is sisterhood. Okay. Comparison and competition.
Y'all hear that? Say it one more time.
Sisterhood, comparison, and competition.
Okay. How are we going to break that down? Starting with sisterhood. What does sisterhood mean to you?
Sisterhood to me does not necessarily mean biological sisterhood.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So sisterhood for me is someone that I can depend on, someone who is reliable, someone who is consistent, and someone who allows me the room and the space to be my authentic self.
Okay.
What about you? What does sisterhood mean to you?
Sisterhood for me is, I'm just going to use one word, supportive. Really, and no matter what stage you are in life, whether you're, again, in your teens, your 20s, I think sisterhood is important. And just having that support where it's non-biased, non-judgmental, right? And just a safe space. That's what sisterhood is to me. That's what it means to me. And just like you said, doesn't necessarily have to be, biological. Some people have friends who are, closer than a brother. Yeah. And that's sisterhood, just real simple. And we'll talk about it more. But sisterhood just means just having that support system, that additional support system.
Yeah, I agree.
Where it's needed.
And having that, I'll be honest, growing up in, going through school, going through middle school, going through grade school, all of those different areas, how you're like the popular kid, but you don't pull from that. Like, I just like people. Like, so in school, I may have been selective, but I would sit with the, the nerds. I would sit with the musicians, the thespians, the black, the white, the cheerleaders, the football player. Like, I was just kind of like that floater.
Y'all, she was popular.
float her around
That's
school.
what she's saying.
No, not really. But I had people like, oh, I always wanted to get to know you, or I always saw you. And so for me, I think that authenticity of it also, like, don't just want to be in my circle because just to be in the know. Are you truly trying to be a true friend? Because you have a lot of people who call you sis or hey sis or hey sis. But when I call you, when is the last time you checked on me?
Ooh.
When is the last time you reached out before I reached out? Like, I notice, I always say, if I stop reaching out, will I hear from you? Like that's how I gauge things. Like, I'll be like, you know what? I just realized I'm always the one reaching out. Let me stop and let me see if I hear back. It sometimes be months with certain people. So that allows me to gauge, you calling me sis, but you don't really
it's a two-way street.
Yes.
It's a two-way street, and, it doesn't, we talked about, what is it? It's sisterhood, comparison, and competition. And that's the thing, I think, let me just say specifically, because we said it in our intro, as Black women, we are pitted against each other the most, right? And it's all due to, whether we want to say societal pressures, right? Relationship pressure. And that leads into the comparison and the competition. And so I think, they say the older you get, the smaller your circle becomes.
Yes.
Now, I'm not, I've learned to open myself up to receive new friendships, and I've gained, a couple of friends in my mature age now, right? But again, there's that defense mechanism, right? That's put up because you're like, why does she want to be in my circle? Or why all of a sudden, is there this interest? And so I think it's a two-way street. Yeah. It's a two-way street that, you're not giving, in order to receive, but you want to see that reciprocation, right? You want to know that if my girl really has my back, right? And, or is she checking up on me because she needs something? Or is she really checking on me because she genuinely, hasn't heard from me? And say, hey, sis, I'm just checking in. How are you? And we talked about that in the last episode,
And I agree with you when you said, having that wall up. And it's not a wall because you don't trust the person, but who wants to constantly get burned, right? Who wants to continue? Who wants to keep doing that? Like, that's like a kid going and touching the stove and you keep doing it. So what I've learned to do is, in my adult years, because I used to always say, before someone, I'm not going to say their name, but before someone came out with the song, No New Friends, I was already talking about that, okay? I said, who needs friends when I got sisters?
Yeah, baby.
I got 2 sisters.
Yep.
I got 2 sisters, so I was like, I don't need no friends. But my sisters they were married, they got kids, so I'm like, okay, well, there's some of the things that I want to do. They looking at me like, girl, you ain't got no kids and you ain't got no men, so you need to do that on your own. So I had to learn, to stop doing that. But I know for me, what I did years ago, I started praying and I said, God, send me women that genuinely want to be connected with me. Send me people that are going to, iron sharpens iron. I want someone who, is in alignment with me, someone I can talk God with, someone I can talk my relationships with outside of my sisters, right? And so that's really helped me. I've gained, I have some, very close friends that I know I can pick up the phone and call. Like, I even have friends where they be like, girl, you've been quiet. Now, I'm a talker with the people that I'm close with, but if you don't really know me, I'm very reserved. I will kind of like just be watching the room. But my friends that reach out and be like, girl, you've been quiet, or what's up? I really appreciate that because it's like, it's that right time. I'm like, I did need somebody to chat with, or I have been kind of under the weather or not feeling well. So it's always good to know, like, that being genuine, right? Genuine.
Kind of share, I'll go behind the veil. For me, life has changed a bit, in the past 5 years. And, sometimes friendships and or relationships are linked to your role or your marital status.
Oh, okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. Or your marital status. Mm-hmm. And when and if that changes, there is a shift. Let's be honest. Yeah. There's a shift in those relationships, you know, if they were friendships or sisterhood. And I experienced that.
Wow. Okay.
I experienced the part where, hey, there was the support. Mm-hmm. And I also experienced the part where it was like
dissolved.
Crickets. You know, and it got me to the point where I did close. I was like, I got my sisters. That's it. Right. But then, you know, God, of course, I had a God encounter, right? And all those things or whatever. And, you know, my heart just opened up and, you know, I got some good girlfriends.
Yeah.
Girl, right?
My girlfriends.
You know, that came on, and that's why I used that word. I didn't even know I was going in that direction, but that's why I used the word supportive.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And no matter what the circumstance is, I'm going to be there for you.
Right.
And no matter what the circumstance is, I'm going to be in your corner.
Right.
And it's not judgmental. Right. It's not, you know, you're right, so that's why I'm with you, or you're wrong, that's why I'm not with this person. Yep. It's just being that neutral person that is supportive no matter what.
No matter what.
You know what I mean?
That is sisterhood.
Yep, it is.
Regardless of what your circumstance is.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happened on the left or the right. You are my girl. You are my... There's a hood. Y'all already know. Y'all done seen Boys in the Hood. Y'all know what they called it, Boys in the Hood? There were boys in the hood, and they stuck together. Y'all know how they went ham when it happened to Ricky.
What?
Ricky!
Let's not talk about...
Y'all know how they went down about him. Now, mind you, Ricky was the only one in the hood that was getting out. Everybody supported him from all blocks of the neighborhood, so it's about that hood. So sisterhood, it don't even matter. We don't gotta go to the same church. We don't gotta do like the same things. But when you need me, am I showing up authentically and meaning it? Not to get in your business,
right.
Not to come and see. Well, you know how something happens and then someone takes it and they want to turn it into their story. That ain't why I called you, or that's not why I needed a shoulder. I really needed you to just listen to me, and that's where we can move into that comparison part, right? Yeah. Because I don't want no one to be my friend who is secretly in competition with me. That is the worst type of relationship to have. I remember having a friend, and every time I would say, "Oh, I did this. Oh, well, I got that too." Okay. We got the same thing. Nice. Or I would call them with good news, and it wouldn't really be congratulations. It would be, well, I was thinking about doing that too. Or I had to start. I was like, you know what? You know that guy, that GIF, he be like, that's all I need. It only takes one or two times.
That's it.
And it starts to click for me.
Yeah. You find out. And, you know, it's my thing is, it's about that solidarity. Yes. Right? Are you solid?
Are you solid as a rock?
As a rock. You know what I mean? Are you going to be shifting and moving, with the waves? You know, just you ain't anchored.
Yeah. That's a word.
It's a word. Listen, my soul
is anchored.
Has been anchored. But yeah, you know that quote where, and I think about this quote sometimes because I'm like, where we hear it in the culture now. Don't compete where you can't compare.
I use it all the time.
And that's fine, right? But then I'm going to be the devil's advocate, right? So to speak. The don't compete where you can't compare. It's almost like, I don't want to put myself in a position, and we shouldn't, where we think we're better than. Right. And so my thing is, sometimes competition is good. Right.
Healthy.
Because it can be a healthy competition, right? But when you start, just like you said, when you start to compare, that's when you start like, how do they really feel about me, right? How do they really see me? Because, I've had some friendships that have dissolved where I realized it was one-sided. Right?
One-sided friendships be the worst.
They drain you.
They
drain
exhausting.
you, and not from the standpoint of, you think you're better than and you've given more than this person,
right.
But that person, you find that person isn't authentic for you.
Right.
They can be authentic but they're not authentic towards you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of times we're like, well, I done put 15 years into this friendship or 20 years in this relationship or whatever. Baby, sometimes it's just time to move.
Yeah. And guess what?
Yeah.
Quality over quantity.
That part.
I could have known somebody for 2 months.
Yeah.
And they show me there can be a more consistent friend or a sister than someone I've known for 30 years.
Very true.
Because a lot of times we just get comfortable.
Yeah.
We're like, I done put in so much time. Mm-hmm. I don't really want to. But we talked about it in the last episode about that well. Mm-hmm. If I'm constantly pouring out and you're never replenishing me, why are you here?
Why are we together?
What? How does this benefit me?
Yeah.
Because honestly, let's be honest, y'all. Every relationship, there should be some type of benefit.
Yeah, that's right.
Regardless of what that benefit is. It could be just somebody, honestly, that I get up and I go to work very early. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I may have to drive 2 hours. I had a friend, she would call me. When she knew I was commuting early, she would call me, hey, sis, I'm just calling you in the morning. Yeah. You good? Yep. I know you got to go over that bridge today. I'm just checking. And that literally fed me. I was like, she's like, I know you tired. But she did that for me. And then she's like, I'll be glad when you ain't going to the bridge. But it's because she was up and she thought enough of me to say, let me just give Meek a call real quick to wake her up. So that's the benefit. I don't need her to send me anything. She just checked on me and that just made me feel seen.
It does. And it makes you feel good. And, I have those same experience. I have I have a couple special girlfriends, but, one girlfriend, we have a bond. Mm-hmm. We have a bond and we don't see each other that much. She's in a profession. She's a professional, right? I'm a professional. I travel, she travels. But, when you get that phone call, when you get that memo of voicemail, right? And, now we got the phones where the voicemail, you can see the text.
Yes.
Right? And so she'll just be like, hey, sis, just checking on you. Let me know when your schedule is open so we can have dinner.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I love you for that. You know who you are.
Yes. And even that part. That the understanding the busyness.
Yep. That's right.
Not getting upset if you don't hear from me because I'm busy. But when we talk, we pick right back up where we left off. But not feeling some type of, I ain't heard from her. And what friends you ain't heard from because they feeling some type of way or the friends that they're just busy. But when you talk to them, it picks right back up.
That's the truth. That's the truth. You know what I mean? You don't have to explain what's understood.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And it's just like you said, it's no love lost. We pick up right back where we left, you know? And that's sisterhood.
That's and it helps eliminate competition too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have some girlfriends and we have a lot of mutual girlfriends.
Right.
Because if she's the middle big sis, but if big sis got a friend, sometimes I gotta vet him out.
Yeah.
I'm like, who you bringing around? Who this? Where she come from?
We'll tell a couple of those stories later.
But when I vet them out in the little sister way, I'm like, I love her for... First it'll be, I love her for us.
Like, am I really going to bring somebody around us in our entourage, in our circle?
I'll be like, I love her for us. At first I'll be like, I love her for you, but I'll be like, I love her for us. She's my girl too. And so it really just helps eliminate that because you really don't want anyone to come in causing havoc.
Oh, for sure.
You don't want anyone coming in causing drama.
Yep.
And you just get to an age where you want to be able to sit back, invite some ladies over, kick your feet. I done been invited to some of her girlfriend's stuff, honey, where I'm the youngest one in there, honey, kicking up, sitting around.
And I'll be like, oh, I'm the plus one?
Yep. She's like right now my forever plus one. Because our oldest sister, she be like,
She be like, oh, y'all look so cute.
And my mom, I be like, Mom, you want to go? She be like, I be like, all right, well, Kim gonna be the plus one forever. So we be going places. She be like, you got a plus one? I just sometimes be looking at her like, girl, yes, but what if I want to take?
I mean, that's fine, but
I ain't got nobody else to take right now.
I'm plus
but
one.
It's nice to be able to just be around genuine women where you don't feel no competition. Like we celebrated. your birthday a couple of years ago, and we was in Miami.
It was a vibe, baby. Yes.
Women from that we both know, our friends, and family came together, and every single woman on that trip was like, "This is the best female trip I've ever been on."
Talk about
it. Where there was no competition. None. Everybody was complimenting each other, genuinely complimenting each other. Why? Because we were there for one particular person to celebrate one particular person, and because you know your circle and birds of a feather flock together. We knew the people we were bringing together was going to be.
It was beautiful.
Meshing, like, you know.
And that's what you want, you know, at any age. But as you mature, you know, you want reason. You want reason for why am I doing this? You want reason for why do I have this relationship? You want reason for why are they in my space?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Not just to take up the space.
Right.
But hey, is there, you know, is this a give and receive? And, you know, it's just meshing together.
Yeah.
It's just that mesh, you know what I mean? Like goulash.
Yeah.
I don't know why it just came.
Goulash?
Yeah. But you know,
you ate goulash?
I mean, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. But it just meshes.
It does.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, I think sisterhood is beautiful.
I do too.
And I'll be honest, we know some individuals who don't have sisters,
right?
And so biological sisters, and so Tamika and I's bond is different and more in depth, you know, because whether we're, you know, even though there's a 7-year gap, you know, we just have a lot of commonalities, similarities, and, you know, we do a lot together.
Right.
But we also have mutual friends who don't have sisters.
Right.
And they talk about our relationship, right? You know, just like I said in that other episode, you know, she was a pest, you know.
Yeah, some of y'all like that episode a little bit too much when she called me a pest, too. You know who you are.
But, you know, it's just like, you know, now they see our relationship and they was like, I love you all's relationship. I love how you all are so supportive, not just to the both of us, but all of our siblings.
Yeah, because when they meet our other two siblings, they be like, it's 4 y'all?
It's 4?
Y'all are so close. But that's just how our mom raised us.
Basically, it talks about healthy relationships. And I think if you've experienced healthy relationships, you don't have a problem, or that's not your first thought. That's not your first thought to compete with someone. Right. That's not your first thought to start comparing. Right. You know, I got some girlfriends who are just straight baddies.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
I keep a baddie with me all the time.
Relationships are important, and if you can find those sister friends that you can really lean on, and you know that you can be there for them and they can be there for you. It doesn't matter what age you are.
Nope.
Right? You know, you can always open yourself up to new relationships. Yeah. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And, you know, sisterhood, you know, spans from, again, community, organizations that you may be a part of or affiliated with that bond and that special, just getting to know that person for who they really are and being that support system. You know, like I said, that's what sisterhood is about for me.
So let us know in the comments what sisterhood means to you.
Yeah.
Have you experienced sisterhood? And if you haven't, how are you going to work towards trying to experience sisterhood? Because it is a beautiful, when you find true sisterhood, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Yeah. And so we hope that this episode kind of picks your brain a little bit. We hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you share. Yes. And join us next week for episode 4 of Sisters with Purpose. Bye!